What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Baron's Hideout podcast. I'm Dustin.
And I'm
That
what's my
was my
name?
best. I don't know.
I'm Dustin too. That's
Yeah, that was my best Michael Myers breathing.
I like it. Oh,
Oh yeah, put it on. While he's doing that, we are here to celebrate the month of October with the Patreon pick of us covering the entire Halloween franchise. So we're not going to do this as one big episode. We're going to do, smaller reviews of the movie, of each movie per episode. So I think that's the most fair way to judge. Like, there's only be one movie only one set of movies that's grouped, and that's just going to be easiest way to talk about them.
yes, for sure. And I just want to preference this that I have reviewed Halloween 78, which is what we're doing today. I have done it already, but it was such a long time ago, and we did our top fives. When you came on, it's been at least like what 2 months?
2 months. Yeah.
About 2 months, and you guys know that this Halloween is my favorite horror movie slasher like there is. It's what got me into the genre. So I don't remember a lot of the things I said back then. That's going 3 years back. So it's been a long time, and it was a longer episode because we went beat by beat, but we're not doing that with these. We are going to be doing them all individual, taking our time with these and highlighting things that we liked, what we didn't like, and essentially giving a score at the end of where we would put this in the total of 13 films, I think.
13, yeah.
So we'll kind of, I guess, as we go along with these, maybe shift them as we're going through the series, but I think we'll try to put it in a placement somewhere of where we would go from 1 through 13 of our likeness of these. But yeah, I'm so stoked to do this. Halloween, it just has such a it's so close to my heart. So I'm happy to be here with you because I want to hear your opinion on these. I know there's some stinkers out there, but I love them nonetheless.
Correct. I'm going to be upfront with you right now. When it comes to horror, I like little rubber monster stuff. I like the monster movie.
Oh yeah.
Slashers are cool, but not typically the ones I go for first.
Sure.
Depending on the stylized. I mean, one of my favorites is Behind the Mask. I just love how that movie's laid out. I love how everything about it, but I prefer a monster over a slasher.
Sure.
So I just wanted to preface that before we get into this because, yeah, I just think I could outrun Michael Myers. That's all I'm saying.
You think?
I think, yeah, sure. So, yeah, so we'll kick it off. Dustin, do you remember around like the first time of you watching this movie?
Yeah. I think I always forget like the exact age, but I think I was at least 10 or 11. I was so afraid of horror movies, and like I've said the story a lot. And even when I was younger, I saw like Edward Scissorhands, and I saw that while creeping down like stairs where my mom was watching it. In the basement, we had a big TV, and that movie scared the hell out of me. And like I'd never watched anything that looked creepy. But there was I think they still do that on AMC. Do like all October long, they're doing the horror marathons and whatnot, and they've always had Halloween running through them. So around like 10 or 11, my mom threw it on. I was like, oh, okay, I guess we'll get in a spooky mood. And I watched this, and I had fucking nightmares for a week. Just the score that was in this, the setting, everything about this, I think it has such a great vibe. And what I mean by great is that it really puts you in the headspace of like where these people are, like what's going on in this neighborhood. Because I lived in a neighborhood that was kind of like this. The houses are kind of close together, but not really. The houses are kind of nice, but it was very quiet. And that's what this movie is. It's quiet but sinister, and that's what's
Sure.
always stuck with me. And it just grew to be my favorite horror movie because it let me overcome some sort of fear or realized that I kind of like this feeling of being scared, and I'm always chasing that high. But what about you, man? Where did you around see this?
Say around the same time. I was like 10 or 11.
Hmm?
Because when I feel like when I was about that age is when Scream came out.
Okay, yeah.
Um, because when I was 10 or 11, you were probably like 4 or 5, I feel. So, so yeah, I remember really digging Scream, and like Halloween. Right, let me double check that shit real quick.
Scream, I think,
When
was
did Scream come?
96.
96. So yeah, I was about 10.
Yeah, I would have been 3. I was born
Oh
in
no,
90.
I'm lying. 96, I would have been 7 years old.
Okay, yeah. I was born in 93. So
And
3 years
I
sooner.
remember I remember like USA or like an AMC, it was like UPN.
Oh,
UPN would do
okay.
like these specials and they were advertising uh whatever the current Halloween, I think it was H2O
Yeah, it would have
at
been
that point.
H2O.
Just advertising the shit out of that, and that's when I kind of got interested in the Michael Myers character. Seeing the first one when AMC was playing it through, of course, when they cut the boobs out of it, because they can't show that on TV.
Yeah.
And then moving forward, it was just a train ride, and then now we're here. So it was about the same story as yours, but I didn't grow up in a town similar to this, but I do like the vibe of the movie. I do like how you don't expect anything this heinous to go on in this neighborhood, and
No.
that's what works best for it.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, real quick, we'll just dive right into Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, please, yes. I don't remember what the score is. I'm pretty sure I looked at it back in my review, but there's a chance that even what it was back then is completely different now. But yeah, dude, let's do it.
So there are 85 critic reviews.
That's so crazy. A movie like this, only 85, but it is a John Carpenter film. All right, 85 reviews. Halloween is so influential. It has to be certified fresh. It has to be. If it's not, then it's gone. I'm gonna have to say it's like 92%. I have to. What is it?
It's certified fresh at 96%.
Holy shit! Oh, thank God. I'm like, if it's like not in the 90s, there's something wrong.
And then for the audience score, there's 250,000 plus reviews.
There we go. There we go. Usually when you get really, really big numbers like that, the numbers, like the actual percent, is kind of wonky. I'm gonna say it's the year that this was, 78.
89.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That just goes to show how important, I guess, this movie is to a lot of people, and what it paved for a lot of other things. Like, yeah, you had Texas Chainsaw Massacre like years before,
Mhm.
or even like, what was it, Alice, Sweet Alice, I think, was a couple years before, which was also like another slasher. But for what this
Black
was,
Christmas.
Black Christmas, and it also being on Halloween, which I think obviously was John Carpenter's intent to do that, and he wanted to do this whole other thing of every movie being a different thing about Halloween, but that's a whole nother story for another Halloween movie. And also it's Jamie Lee Curtis's debut, and her essentially being one of the first scream queens of like that generation, and still being in Halloween movies, and being as influential as she is. I mean, people have opinions on her, but
Mhm.
her performance in this film, for her, how young she was and what she went through, I think she nailed it.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like my thing is with this, dude, like we're expected to think that Jamie Lee Curtis, PJ Souls, that they're all teenagers, dude.
Hmm.
And I don't know, man. I don't feel the dread when it comes to them. The children, when the children are in danger, that's when I felt the dread.
Oh yeah.
And do I am I a fan of Jamie Lee Curtis? No. because I don't like how she's blatantly openly said what she said about the horror community and how she
Mm-hmm.
feels about
Sure.
why she makes these movies, which, you know what, make money, that's fine.
Yeah.
But don't ruin the motif for everyone else. Like Paul telling me Gilbert Gottfried didn't actually talk like that. You motherfucker.
Oh man, that's harsh.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Do you just want to dive into what we actually did like about this movie and then what we didn't like, or
Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely do that and maybe go through a couple scenes that we really like. I just want to say this is a movie where if I'm going to talk about it, I don't need to watch it because I've seen it so many times and like I
Mhm.
know essentially beat for beat and what goes on. But I want to hear from you first of like what you liked about this because I'm so intrigued of your thoughts.
So what I liked was I like we said earlier, I liked the setting a lot. I like the peril that you're supposed to feel
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to when Michael Myers comes back to town. Uh the children characters are likable because you can just definitely tell that they're fucking afraid the whole time. And I like that each kill wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just him fucking stabbing someone.
Mm-hmm.
Each kill was very different. I did really dig that. Do you have a favorite kill of this movie?
Favorite kill? Oh boy. I mean, everybody will say the Bob kill was really really good. But
It's iconic.
it's very iconic. But I have to say the him being in the blanket, the sheet of him being the ghost. I love that whole setting and where that builds up to. So that is my favorite because it's iconic, but it's just not as iconic as the Bob kill. So I'm gonna have to go with that one.
That's my favorite one too, and for the sole reason that PJ Souls is on the phone with Jamie Lee Curtis when she's getting killed. Like
Yeah,
Jamie Lee Curtis is listening to her friend die. I really like that
yeah.
a lot. Um, but yeah, what about you, man? What do you other than your huge love for this franchise like about this Halloween movie?
I mean, the score just like it hits so
Oh,
much, so many
so good.
notes, and like it's honestly, I throw on the Halloween score because they're all like on Spotify and stuff because John Carpenter releases them or whatever. I even have a vinyl set of a bunch of his scores, and this one for how quick he put everything together, I think it was like 3 or 4 days of the whole entire soundtrack or even like the script itself and for it being a very very early film of his. I mean, he did some beforehand. I think this really like showed people what you can do with very very little. Like take the mask for example. Like Tommy Lee Wallace made this mask. He went and grabbed a Dawn Post Captain Kirk mask, and he had no idea that's what it was, and he made it and took
Altered
some
it, yeah.
stuff off and made it really
Hmm.
really creepy. Painted it white, and just this movie. A lot of other movies obviously borrow what this movie was and the essence of
Hmm.
it, and
Sure.
make it its own. But for the time and even being younger and not being so exposed to these types of films, it left such a big mark like for me that I feel like a child every time I watch this, and that's a good thing. And like I feel like how I felt when I was younger watching this. It's just everything about this I love, and I can't find anything really negative about this other than the amount of totalies. And
Yeah.
I was at Silver Scream Con where they had Nick Castle and PJ Souls and the guy who played Bob. I always forget his name. They had him there and they did a panel, and PJ Souls was talking about that, and he was saying that John didn't really like give her too much direction on what she wanted to do, so she just kept saying totally for everything because he was going through a bunch of other different either shows or movies that she was doing at the time. But that's also very iconic with this film. You know, people have shirts of just totallys on it, and you know exactly what that's from. You know, it's not just Michael that's iconic from this. It's like you got the characters that are there. You have the house that's so iconic. You have the opening scene.
The score.
Yeah, the opening score, the beginning scene of this little boy, just something snapped, and he's just standing there without any emotion, even being like put into this cop car with the family there. There's like so many questions you have when you watch this, and I fucking love it.
Yeah,
love it.
If I were to say anything I didn't like about this movie, I didn't like the pacing of the first two acts.
Okay, I can understand, yeah.
Because the third act is pow, 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 pow. You know, like you're getting all of it in the third act. I do wish we got a little knockoff in the second. If the knockoff bled into the second act, I wouldn't be complaining at all. But again, you know, this movie was made in the 70s. What is impressive is the fucking budget, dude. Like, he made this for fucking 2 paper clips and a wet fart. Eventually, essentially, you know,
essentially a college film if you think about it.
$350,000. You tell me something that could be made now without even with that number not being laughed at.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, the score is iconic. The characters are iconic. The house is iconic. I do, and the kills. Like I said, the kills are not the same, which makes them great. And obviously, it's a huge influence. Like down here, you know, at Halloween Horror Nights, we've had 4 or 5 different Halloween houses. You know, like Michael Myers is a cultural icon when it comes to pop culture, not cultural. Is a pop culture icon. You know, like you thumb through TikTok, you see fucking 5-year-olds wearing Michael Myers shit. You know,
my son.
I'm saying he's beloved. So, would you change anything?
No, dude, I really wouldn't. And another thing I need to also tack on is, like, you had movies that kind of did the same thing, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There wasn't really a lot of blood in that, right? There was like a lot of things you were thinking were happening.
Yeah, it was left up to interpretation. Sure,
and that's exactly what this movie is. Like, there's killings, but are you seeing blood, like excessive amount of blood or anything? It's more about you being in the moment, you seeing what's happening. Like, let's talk about the Bob kill, right? It's so iconic because Bob is there, he's stabbed, he kind of twitches a little bit, and then you have the iconic head tilt that got carried over to other movies. But just that one little subtle thing that Nick Castle did as portraying the Shape, who he's not even named in this, it's just the Shape, and sort of Michael's like later on, with, like, you know, Dr. Loomis and whatnot, which we'll dive into his character from Donald Pleasance in a minute. But just focusing on just how the Shape is portrayed, and you don't know what he or what this thing really is. Is he traveling these distances through space and time? Is he really a human? It just goes into the questions of, like, what is happening? Why is he targeting these people? There's another thing, is like you think you know why, but then you kind of don't know why. He's just there. I mean, other later movies kind of, like
we've had 35 plus years of people talking about it, but at the time this came out, you didn't know.
Yeah, and originally, I'm pretty sure the original title of this was supposed to be the babysitter killer or something like that. Something about the babysitters. So it wasn't even supposed to be Halloween. It was supposed to be a guy going and stalking people who are babysitting people and killing them, which, you know, we kind of got with Slumber Party Massacre and stuff like that. That also kind of came a little bit later in the 80s. So it's another movie that borrowed a little bit. But yeah, there's literally nothing I would change or even want to add to this, because it's so perfect in every way, for the time that it came out, and even till today, it holds up. It's such a beautiful film. It really is.
The only thing I would change, dude, is the face reveal.
Okay.
Don't take his mask off. Just don't take his mask off, or don't show it.
Yeah.
You know, that's all. I mean, that's the mystique of him. You know, like that's the mask is essentially Michael Myers' power. Like the blank stare, the emotionless mask.
Devil's eyes.
But, Yeah, it's like go does. But you take his mask off, he's just a fucking person, dude. Like
Yeah.
that's the only thing I would change. But I do want to bring up, you just brought up the Bob kill. Did you happen to notice what type of doors he was stabbed into?
Um, no, I don't think I ever really paid attention to that.
They are trifold doors, which like they fold out.
Oh, okay, the
They're
closet
about
doors.
they're about that thick. Is that knife and that door gonna hold up that grown ass man?
All right, if we're going at straws, probably not. Probably not.
Yeah, I forgot it was that, but no, you're right. Like the characteristic that Nick Castle with the tilting head, that's moving forward. Kane Hodder did that with Jason. That was a Jason trait moving forward. Gunnar Henson did it with Bubba. I hate Bubba. Did it moving forward. And yeah, man, but like I said, if I changed anything, just don't take the mask off. Because it never happens again. Like we don't
Yeah.
ever see that again
It
in
sort of
any of them.
happens later on. I think it's Resurrection is where they try to do that, or was H2O? It's one of those where his mask sort of kind of comes off, but we'll get to that in
Yeah.
a little later.
But we don't get like a full face reveal like
No.
we do. Like we get a good look at Jason, or not Jason, Michael in this one. You know,
Yeah.
so that's the only thing I would really change.
Yeah,
Only thing. But let's talk about Donald Pleasance just for a minute, man.
we have
And
to.
he, in my opinion, is the best part of this whole movie.
Yeah, he's
I
great in
love him.
every single scene. I agree.
I love him. The sheer panic that he's in. And we're gonna talk about this Dr. Loomis later, but fuck Malcolm McDowell's Dr. Loomis. Dude,
I
Donald
love
Pleasance
Malcolm
was
McDowell, but
perfect. You know, and I shot him 6 times. Did you really? Yeah, yes. You know, just
yeah,
being fucking nuts, dude. I love it. You know, he's perfect.
he
All the
is.
way up. He was in the franchise all the way up until he passed, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
The commitment, it was just amazing. Like I can't praise Donald Pleasance enough.
Me either. And like he's done like a lot of other things too leading up to this, but John Carpenter really struck gold when he got him on to do
Mm-hmm.
this. And one of my favorite scenes with Dr. Loomis in here is when he's at the house and the boys are playing in the other side, and he just like he freaks them out and tells them to leave. I
Scares
love
him,
that
yeah.
so much. It's just like what this film does to you. It's like you're just kind of you're watching, and then oh crap, like something just makes you feel a little off. And yeah,
That's such
it's
an
so
old
good.
man thing to do.
It is.
And that's
It is. But yeah,
Yeah.
he's such a great character, and even going back when they go to Smith Grove and Michael's stealing the car and all these other things, which is another thing that people bring up is like, how did he learn to drive a car?
How? He was 6 years old when he went into that institution.
And it's funny.
Did they give him driver's ed? Like, did he learn how to fucking
Well,
drive?
that's the funny thing, because when during the Q&A I had Nick Castle was making a joke and said, yeah, they had really good driver's ed at Smith's Grove. So
Get out of here. That's not a real thing, Nick Castle.
And it's also a cool scene. It kind of gives you, when I first saw this later on in life, after I saw Night of the Living Dead, when you see all like the patients outside when it's raining, I'm like, is this a zombie film or something? Like rewatching it later, I was like, no, it can't be. But it's such a great film from the beginning to the end. I feel like it adds a lot of things. There's a couple deleted scenes in here with Dr. Loomis going back to the institution, of him having sort of like a conversation with some of the doctors that got cut out, and some things that adds a little bit extra to why he's doing what he's doing and why he needs to stop the Shape or Michael at this point. He gets name dropped. And it's also really funny of all the times that he's so close to getting him, because he's like driving away when he's talking to people, or even like the cops, or where you see the car in a distance where Jamie Lee Curtis's
He's
father,
right on his tail the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, and also we have to mention that Charles Cyphers, he passed away not that long ago, and it's sad because everybody's entitled to one good scare.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
so
Halloween.
good, so good.
Yeah, fucking good, man.
And even like going to the bush scene, which a lot of memes are of like Michael standing out from the bush in broad daylight, and then him going back, and like she's looking, he's not there anymore. It's like, what is going on? It's so fucking good. I can go on
all
forever,
all I will
with this
say is
film.
about that part, dude, is my wife. She doesn't do scary movies, which is fine.
Hmm.
She sat out here while I was watching it because me personally, I don't think it's scary. Like, but I'm also desensitized to the stuff,
Exactly.
and I've seen it so many times. But I look over at her, dude, and she's like
Yeah, I
watching
miss
it like
that
this.
feeling, dude.
I'm like, oh my god, it is because it got to the bush scene. I'm like, look, he's behind there, and she's like this.
And you got
I'm
the
like, oh,
dun 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 in the
the
background.
score
Oh,
is so good,
and
dude.
it's so simple too, Oh, so
Yeah.
fucking good.
So, with that being said, dude, where on the list would you rate Halloween 1978?
I mean, you can't put it any lower than number one because it's what started everything. I mean, sure, there's some other Halloweens in there that you might find more enjoyable or
Mm-hmm.
whatever, but for me personally, I have to put it at number one. I have to.
Yeah. Not me.
Really?
It's number two.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
I don't want to obviously I don't want to hear what number one is.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious to see what your what your number one pick is.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's sitting in number. I did give it. What did I give it? I gave it 4 stars
Cool.
for Letterboxd. Yeah. I mean, of course, like I said, I can't take away what the movie did for
Yeah.
the horror community, filmmaking moving forward
Sure.
when it comes to slashers. I'm not taking any of that away. Like I said, my only gripes: don't take the mask off, and if the pacing in the first 2 acts was a little bit better, there we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have it rated at my second spot in the Halloween franchise.
Oh yeah. On Letterboxd I have this 5 out of 5.
Of course you
Um
do.
and I can't get it any lower. It's my number one favorite horror movie or slasher movie, wherever you want to say it. Like I don't think there would ever be anything that would top this, just because of the emotions and feelings I have that are attached to this, and how much it bled into the rest of my life. And now that I have a son who that hasn't seen the movies, but like I've talked about Michael enough, he sees my masks and he loves it. And going to conventions, he's everywhere, absolutely
Oh,
everywhere.
the easiest cosplay. Oh, not just that; it's in media too. Like, there's 2 new Halloween games coming out.
Yeah, I can't wait.
He's in Dead by Daylight.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of fan made, Halloween games.
Yep.
They just added him to Call of Duty.
Yep.
It's stuff like that. Like, Michael Myers, I guess he's a pop culture icon
Yeah.
for a reason. So,
And it was last year, the year before, I actually snagged a Haddonfield Memorial Hospital jacket that someone made
oh,
on
cool.
Etsy, and it's so like so close to being screen accurate, and it's amazing. And if you guys have not seen Halloween and you want to claim you're a horror fan, I don't fucking believe you. I'm just saying it right now.
I don't know about that. That's a little extreme. I mean, I feel like if you're a horror fan regardless. I mean, if you don't know the person's name, you're a horror fan. If you don't never seen the movie, you're a horror. It's okay. But
I'm only kidding.
this is one movie that you absolutely should see. Yes.
It's
Like
an
I said, my wife was literally doing this because she had never seen it.
which I envy her so much. I wish I could have that feeling again. I really, really
Oh
do.
yeah.
But yeah, number one for me, number two for you, and it's a great film. It's a great October Halloween movie. It's got the vibe.
It's Halloweeny.
Yeah, you got the pumpkins. You got the leaves falling. School is about to be out. One other thing too that was always really crazy is the school scene of when God, I always forget the kids.
It's
name.
Doyle, Tommy Doyle.
Tommy, yeah, when he brushes into Michael
But
essentially.
that's not the first time a kid has interacted with Michael Myers like that. Uh, there are also movies where Myers doesn't take pity on the children
Mm-hmm.
the way he did in this one and the way he did in another sequel down
Yeah.
the road. But yeah, I like that. Like that's more of like that's I would say the humanized personality of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
That he understands this is a fucking helpless child. I'm not gonna pick him up and stab him to a door.
Yeah. We'll do that to
Yeah.
somebody a little bit older who's drinking beer and is kind of weird.
Yeah, and are they in the Myers house when they do that?
um, no, that I'm
So
pretty
that's a
sure.
Rob Zombie thing then. Like
Yes,
they're in the
they're in
okay.
a whole different
Okay.
house because the Myers house was said earlier on that um because Lori, I think her family is in real estate and they're trying to sell the house, so
Mm-hmm.
there's a little bit of a connection there. And
That's
that's
what
because that's the house that Dr. Loomis goes back to. That's all abandoned, and he finds the dead animal in there.
and the kids fucking heckling the door. I could have sworn they were partying in the house, but
Yeah,
that was apparently wrong. So
no, but it's like in the same neighborhood.
yeah,
And
it's
just
three
like
doors
it
down. Yeah.
being so unclear as to why he's attacking these people, you sort of kind of get an answer, but you have to wait until Halloween 2 where
Mm-hmm.
they start adding some extra lore to it to I guess flesh it out. But yeah, it's a great film to go and get a nice cup of coffee or whatever you need, nice pumpkin coffee.
Coffee.
Yeah, dude, for me,
Ugh.
pumpkin coffee and you get a nice little.
You are a basic
Yeah,
white
dude.
bitch.
I embrace that fully, and you get a nice little candle lit. Maybe get yourself like one of these fake little pumpkins here and light them up, put them around.
Eat
And
fucking candy corn, probably.
yeah, yeah, dude, I'll fucking
Get
drop
out
some
of
candy
here.
corn in my
Anyways,
coffee. How about
get out
that?
of here, dude. Anyways, that's gonna be our little retrospect of Halloween and how we're gonna gauge the rest of these movies.
For sure.
Uh, we got a lot of shit cooking up, man. October is gonna be very busy for us over here.
Hell yeah.
But most importantly, we have a good friend of the show, Derek Eyeball Soup, whipping up a rad ass shirt design, and we can't wait to share it with you guys. Uh, I'm pretty sure you know what I can guarantee you, patrons will see it first.
Yes,
Uh,
100%.
they'll- and they'll get a first crack at it type of deal. So if you're feeling inclined, we do have a Patreon. You can support us as low as $1 a month. You know, and a ton of shit goes on there. You get episodes essentially a week early.
Mhm.
Uh, extra cool shit that Dustin and I are doing. And like I said, you're gonna get to see these shirts firsthand and probably get a cool little discount on them when they go live.
Oh yeah, man. I'm excited and thank you guys for supporting us and being here. And I hope you guys are going to be enjoying this whole retrospective and ranking of the Halloween franchise because there's a lot of them and we're not done with them yet because
That's too many of them.
supposedly either a TV show or a whole nother trilogy going to be happening. And I'll talk about those when we get to the David Gordon Green movies.
David Gordon Green. Anyways, Dustin, let's get out of here, man.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for being here. Stay spooky. It is the season. And if you're dressing up as Michael Myers, send us some pictures, and I want to
Yeah,
see what you're doing.
let's see it.
But other than that, see you guys on the next one.
Later.